But the thing is it's got a double whammy, this thing, because we're playing City in the final, and a lot of people are going to make, if we win this, are they going to say, well, that's it then, Arsenal are going to march on to the league, and if we lose it, the people are going to say, I'll sit here back in there, you know what I mean?
We don't know, it's a long way to go to this final now, because it's a lot later.
March the 22nd.
Yeah, normally it's in February, isn't it? Like, so it's the latest it's been. I think that's something to do with the World Cup or something, was it? I don't really know what that's all about. But
so in the space of a month, potentially we'll be playing City 4 times. Well, potentially we've got the Carabao Cup final with them, we've got the away at the Empty-Had, and we've got potentially two could have two Champions League games.
Like in the quarterfinals or something.
There you go.
If it all goes well.
And then you could. I think you could have them in the FA Cup as well.
Of course you can, you know what I mean? So
I don't really want that to happen.
You know what I mean? You could get Chelsea in the FA Cup again, like, you know. I'll tell you who we won't get. Tottenham Spurs.
Or Man United.
Or Man United.
I'll tell you what though, you watched that game last night just quickly, the Man City and Newcastle game. How slow does Rodri look?
I didn't watch it. But I'll tell you what, I flicked over at one stage and I thought, I can't have any empty seats there.
Oh, mate.
I was still there till 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, what is interesting about that, don't you think, I know it's Newcastle and they're at home and they were 1 up and they could get the cigars out, but don't they look better without Haaland?
Semenyo looks, honestly, he looks frighteningly dangerous. He does. What a signing. Like,
listen, I know what you're saying about Haaland, like, you know. Gay scores in the quarter-final against Arsenal and Pep wants him to play in the semi-final for Man City. Now, what is the rule? Because it's just an absolute farce.
So the rule is, if you sign the player before you play the semi-final first leg, so essentially that tie, if the player's signed beforehand, so Semenyo was signed before they played the semi-final first leg. So therefore he can play in the semi-final second leg and the final. Mark Gay was signed after the semi-final first leg. So therefore he's ineligible for the second leg and he's ineligible for the final. So it's the timing of it. So basically, that simple as that. Semenyo was signed before they played that game.
So,
yeah.
In theory then, Mark Gay scores against Arsenal in the quarter-final, which he did. The next day he goes and signs for Manchester City. He could have played in those semi-finals.
He could have, yes.
How ridiculous is that?
I know. I think for me personally, Semenyo and Gay should be cup tied. But already you're seeing it. It was like just quickly, you said about the Rodri thing. The guy could have been sent off twice, and then he's moaning about refereeing decisions. It's like, mate, the refereeing decisions, he did get it wrong. He should have sent you off. Then last night I heard Pep trying to off. Is this another one of start of Pep's bribes before Michael Oliver gets another 500 grand to change the rules to have Mark Gay start in the final? It's like, no, Mark Gay's not. He's ineligible.
So are they going to ask then to?
Apparently,
yes, they are.
And if the Football League
allow it,
then Arsenal should put in a complaint.
Yeah, 100%. No. Listen, you can't start changing the rules now. Listen, and do I want Mark Gay playing in the final? No, I don't want him. Why? Because he's a very good player. Listen, they knew the rules when they signed him. It's not our fault that they've got injuries. Tough. Deal with it, like we've dealt with it over the years.
Like saying,
you cannot, if they change that rule now, mate, football is gone. That is corruption. There is no other word for it. If that rule gets changed, right, and Mark Gay's allowed to play in that final, I'm sorry, football's corrupt. It is corrupt because you cannot. The rule is in place. I think it's rule 6.3 or something like that.
There you go.
I might be wrong. Okay, of this set of rules for it. But if that gets now changed, I'm sorry. I'm not having it.
I'll tell you what, Man City. I'll tell you what, most of the football world would like. We like a result of your 1-1-5 over 3 years.
Yeah. You cannot be changing this rule now to suit Manchester City. I'm sorry, there's no other way. That will be a bung. If this rule now gets changed,
it can't get changed.
And they
if that's the rule, it's the rule.
What's the point in having the rule? What's the point of having the rules if you're just going to change them?
I'll tell you something.
Change it at the end of the season. Yes.
I know it's a little bit different, but I've sort of followed it a little bit because it's Jack Wilshere, but Luton and Swindon,
yeah,
right. They played an eligible player, like, you know what I mean. Now the rules are you play eligible, you're out.
Yeah, and they are.
And they are. So the rule is there. It's a mistake.
Yep.
But it's a rule. He was eligible to play in that game.
Right, so why would that affect a club like? Why would it affect a club like that? But then when it comes to Manchester City, they've got no, it's all right. And I tell you why, it's money. Money talks. End of and I'm not having it any other way. If you want to change that rule, change it at the end of the season when the cup competition's finished.
Listen, it's been a rule in football
since time
has been there.
Yeah,
and do you know what it done? Do you know why that rule was brought in? And I know that because it stopped players getting knocked out of the FA Cup and then getting someone else to get their player and all that. It become a farce. So they said, "Oh no, we've got to stop this."
Yeah,
right?
Good players.
So we're bringing a rule where you're cup tied. Now it's a rule that I've had to obey and all that, like, you know what I mean? And a rule at some stage, I'm sure that players have thought, I'll stay, I won't leave.
Yeah.
Because I'll be cup tied, I'll wait till the summer or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I've got a little bit of sympathy and I can understand it with Semenyo. He played for 10 minutes
So what?
as a substitute.
Yeah. So what?
I know, so what? But it's in the early rounds, the
That's
first
an appearance,
round,
right?
that
Goes down as an appearance. When you go onto Wikipedia or wherever you get your stats from, and you see appearances, that substitute goes down as an appearance.
And Eddie Howe, after the first leg, wasn't actually moaned about Semenyo playing, you know.
He didn't.
You know, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
And then, not being funny, and listen, this is what Man City have done. Like, you know, fair play. We've bought players. They've gone and bought the two best players in their position. Semenyo, who was statistically the best, who was available in the transfer, and Mark Gahey, because they needed to fill those slots. But they have got ample players. And not being funny, if you watch that game last night, Semenyo is everywhere. Like, Semenyo has fitted straight into that City side like he's been there for years, or been there all season.
He's a bigger threat than Haaland.
He is a threat.
Yeah, but that's a rule that's allowed.
Yes.
He can play in league games and everything like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're allowed to buy players in January. I've got no problem with that.
But there's rules to it.
And I get what you're saying. Like, you've played a minute, you've played 10 minutes, you've played a whole game.
Yeah,
you've played.
Played 10 seconds.
But like Gahey's played up until the quarterfinals.
That's frightening, isn't it?
And then to say, right, you can play, I don't think that should be allowed. You know what I mean? Even if it was Arsenal.
Whether you've played every single minute up until the quarterfinals and you played every game, had extra time and penalties and all that, or whether you've played 10 seconds, you still, as soon as you enter that pitch, that's an appearance.
Do you know what? I'd love to get Martin Keown's view on this. It's a rule. A rule is a rule, Pep. And that is the thing with you, Mr. Pep, right? Rules are rules. You don't keep breaking them. And that's your trouble with you, like, you know. Play by the rules. Come on.